People, deluded, I'm back again. I hope you're all doing well and safe. I hope you're all in good spirits as you can be, Arsenal fans. As usual, good afternoon to those of you in the UK. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, depending on who you are, wherever you are. I hope you're all doing well and safe. As you can see here, people, as you can see, I had the same Safari tab open and the video played. It gave me a bit of a scares, moving like Arsenal against any competent centre half or striker, people. So, yeah, carrying on. I'm not going to bore you lot. We're here to talk about West Brom in a sec. We know Arsenal, or better yet, Arsenal versus West Brom is kind of irrelevant as an Arsenal fan, if I'm completely honest. The season's somewhat gone. I'm wary of calling it that, but it is what it is, people. You saw what happened last night. I spoke about it in the last live stream. I'm sure I've got a lot more to say about it and things. I don't know. I don't know where we go as a football club, people. I'm not going to sit here and cap to you. I don't know where we go. I don't know how we move on. There's nothing really to play for left in the season per se, but we have to move in it. We have to move. We have to move. We have to move. I hope you're doing well and safe. Tina, what are you saying? How's your day been so far, DG? It's been good, man. I've handled what I needed to handle. I was on a live stream with you lot earlier. I'm doing what I need to do in my personal life. So it's business as usual where that's concerned personally, man. So I can't really complain in that regards. Apart from that, we all know what happened with the game. Kay, you're right. It is a pointless game, and it kills me. It kills me to say that, to sit here and say that a game is pointless, because I never want to believe that. I always think you're playing for pride. We could play young players and give them a platform somewhat for next season. There's always something to play for, so it kills me to agree with you. You don't know me. I'll do everything to not agree with that, but there almost isn't anything to play for. For me, it's the enthusiasm, man. Like, I appreciate you guys' support for still progressing and coming in my live streams and things, and you lot applaud me for the work rate. But let's be real, it has been very uninspiring to sit here and speak about Arsenal and stuff like that. But it is what it is, man. Like, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. We'll get into the preview of the game and all of those things in a second, people. We'll cover, as usual, we'll cover some of the Arsenal talking points that have arisen or will arise. In fact, we can start with MIKEL ARTETA. Apparently, the club retain full faith in him. They will not get rid of him. Apparently, KROENKE has no willingness to sell the club, people. So make of that what you will. Nothing is going to change right now in that regards. But as long as we all have breath in us, people, we have to give it everything we got to get certain people out of this football club, man. And again, if you could describe anything as a dead rubber game, you would describe 9th place Arsenal against 19th place West Bromwich Albion. For me, I don't want to lose because of for obvious reasons, but I don't want to lose to Sam Allardyce. Sam Allardyce doesn't like us. Even going back to his Bolton days, the man always had it in for us. I don't want to lose to Sam Allardyce, but really, it is what it is, man. Like, it really is what it is. This team has killed my enthusiasm. It's killed my spirit. And it is a pointless game of sorts. The only thing that will not make it pointless is if you start Martinelli, you give Balogun some minutes. Can you bring Reece Nelson out from the cold? Can you take Bukayo Saka out of the starting lineup? That's when there's something for it for me. And that's what we should do in our last 4 games. Again, playing for pride. I think I don't know how we've done it, but somehow we've managed to go past that stage of being beyond. When they say you're playing for pride, I think we've gone beyond that. Like, what? We're not playing for a damn thing, because what pride? If you can't have pride in the semi-final, when are you going to have pride? Says it all. Says it all about the character of a lot of these players, people. So right where we're at, like, we know after this, what I will say, and what I can only say is for the fans, especially because I swear the last game of the season is going to be played in front of the fans. Not that any of them would want to be there at this moment in time, but can you just put a winning run together? Can you just, try and build for next season? Can you just do it for the fans? Can we, can you just focus on, at least for the fans who Arteta said they let down, just focus on ending the season, quote unquote, strong? There's no way of ending it strong. We sit 9th. Obviously, you can finish higher, but we sit firmly mid-table, to put it nicely. You saw what happened to us in the Europa League. You saw what happened to us in the FA Cup. You saw what's happened to us in terms of our league season. It's been a long season, and fans are tired, man. We're battered, and bruised now. We've done too much now. I think fans are just begging for the season to stop. And then at least with the start of next season, we'll probably do the same foolishness. But at least, whether it's blind, whether it's stupidity, at least there's a bit of new season optimism no matter what club. There's nothing to be inspired about with this football club at this moment in time, people. There really isn't anything. Apologies, people. I'm changing my background because it's upsetting me looking at Smith Rowe like that, man. He don't deserve that. He deserves a lot better. So let's get to the Emirates, man. So yeah, back at the Emirates and all of those sort of things, people. Again, my lighting, because of one of the lights are not working, I need to fix it. We're having a bit of a mare, but we move, man. We move. As you can tell, people, I'm probably uninspired as hell, man. Too little, too late. I think DG, you're right, man. There's nothing really, like Emma said, please make sure you're doing up the likes, man. It's time to relegate West Brom, I guess, bro. You can't really, you can't, how can you relegate them? They're gone already, bro. Like, they're done already. Like, there's nothing, it's a dead rubber game. They're not fighting for survival, they're fighting for credibility. Maybe some of their players, you could sit there and say, cool, some of you, I'm sure you all want to play in the Premier League or one of the quote unquote top divisions. So with that, you're playing to almost put yourself in the shop window. So there's always something. Of course, they've got threats. Maitland-Niles isn't there. They've got Diangana. They've got Pereira. They've got quality in their team, people. But it's really uninspiring sitting here and speaking about it personally. Like, what is there to say about the game? It's 9th versus 19th. It's firmly a dead rubber fixture. Might as well just play the young players, man. We know what we're going against. We're going against a team that's going to play a low block, a team that, you don't get out the championship without having street smart individuals. They got Matt Phillips. There's numerous experienced players throughout that whole team. Sam Allardyce, I don't really like him, but he is a half decent coach and he's more innovative and more. I do think Sam Allardyce gets given a bad rep of being a dinosaur and outdated and things because he was one of the first managers on the Wii Scout and all of these sort of things. Like, he is quite innovative beyond the obvious, He's failed to keep them in. He's failed to keep them in the division, but they're playing for credibility. If he doesn't want to lose to someone, it doesn't want to be Arsenal. Obviously, I won't say the fans learn too much if we lose, but it's a really dark road that we've been on. It gets even darker if we lose this game, people. So I don't really know what it is, man. I don't really know what it is. I really don't know where we go from here or what we do, but nonetheless, we have to keep it moving, people, really and truly. Like I said, what is the point, man? Like, what is the point? I'm struggling to find it, man. The only point for me is, could you play the young players? That's it. That is it, man. That is it. All we need to do is just get the owner out of the club, man. We need this. Stan needs to sell, man. Like, KROENKE needs to sell, man. Needs to sell us ASAP, because again, this is one of the first live streams. Truthfully, I don't want to be here, people. Like, we started, so we can't stop. But I really don't want to be here. Like, it's a half decent day in the UK. So it's an afternoon on a Friday, and all I can think about is Arsenal. Normally they say when there's a next game, you want it to come quickly. I want it to come quickly for what? Because there's nothing to salvage from the league. We're out. I'm not a person who believes in feeling sorry for myself or feeling sorry for my team, because, as I keep saying, the most beautiful thing about life, but also the most horrible thing, is that it simply goes on, people. So by that, there's always something you can do, but what can we do, really? All I would say is just play young players. Again, they can give fans some enthusiasm, and that's about it, man. That is about it. Can you see Nelson or Balogun making an appearance? I would hope so. I mean, Reece Nelson, in his case, Mikel Arteta is saying, I wish we was in other competitions. I can't play him and all of those sort of things. You've got an opportunity now. Would like to see Balogun off the bench. I only say Balogun off the bench is because I think Lacazette, I don't think, he said Lacazette's got 10 minutes, so he'd probably be on the bench. So by that logic, I'd probably start Balogun. But if Lacazette is fit enough to start, I would start and try and give him a bit of legs in the tank and things, because we have got, even though it counts for nothing, we have got Chelsea midweek, and I think Lacazette has to start. I would like to see Balogun start. It'd be a big test for Balogun, of course. He's going against championship centre-halves. He's going against centre-halves probably quicker in thought than him, and he's stronger than him, stronger than him. He's not, and they're a low block. He's not going to have too many of those at under 23s level for this season, those experiences. And let's be real, even though Balogun's a bad boy striker and that, when he's come on in the Europa League, the teams are dead, really and truly. So I think it would be a great experience. Balogun, in a healthy way, be outside of his comfort zone. You're only going to improve outside of your comfort zone. And at least with Balogun, if you give him some opportunities in these next 4 games, I'm not saying we'll know too much about him, or your opinion can change in terms of Arteta, but he can immediately see, okay, cool, this is what football is about at 23's level. I've signed my deal at Arsenal now. Now this is what it's about. Through getting those minutes, if he plays fifth minute, he thinks he's clear on goal, he gets absolutely clattered, he might learn to think, yo, cool, I need to do things a bit quicker so that doesn't happen. So then when you're in pre-season next year, you know what you need to do, because I do think, with exception to a couple, we kind of shield our young players or players of a young sort of age in cotton wool, and then we were kind of baffled they're naive. I think a lot of that has happened with Rob Holding, whatever you think about him. He hasn't been exposed to enough football, and that's why he's played like that, in my opinion. I do think there'll be an extremely rotated side. I say that. Who knows what's going to happen, man? Is what it is. Man, Adam has said, Deluded, why don't you back your manager? Give the Kroenkes another chance. Everyone deserves another chance. Adam, you're clearly on banter, so shout out to you, my guy. You've done your best to bring a bit of humour out. Love for that, but that's where your comment's going to stay. You know, Sam Allardyce is going to hype his boys up to pile on Arsenal's misery. Probably, man. Probably. Arsenal should have got Xavi instead of Arteta. To be fair, I swear he was hell-bent on going to Barcelona. We have to see, man, but enthusiasm's on the floor, man. We keep going anyways. We keep going, man. It is what it is. We made our bed, so we've got to lie in it, folks. We deserve to lose against West Brom. Hey, to be fair, it's a completely separate game and entity while our emotions is on the floor. I don't think we deserve to do anything. It all depends on how we specifically play in that game, my broski. But with what you're actually saying and why you're actually saying it, I can't disagree. I see where that comes from, really and truly. I'm gonna find my glass. Can't find my glass, so I'm gonna have to use my other glass. I'm very peculiar about stuff like this. Nonetheless, here we go. Sorry, people, man. Quite parched. You know, these live streams take it out, and you take it out of you, man. They really, really do. They really do. I got bantered really hard while playing football with my friends, as they should, man. We do that to just about anyone else. That's the game. That's the game. Our team is just butters, you're right. Matt Ryan, rest of the season, give him game time. Well, can't disagree. You know, time for him to test something going into next season. I doubt we'll overtake any of the toxic teams or 7. Try Partey Aziz in midfield. Miguel Aziz is not ready. He's not ready to start a Premier League game. I'm sorry. He's ready to be involved. He's ready to be exposed to it. But I can't lie, he's not ready. He's not ready. You know, if you watch the FA Youth Cup, if you've watched him a couple of times, he's doing better in that 6th role. But it'll be a good experience because he'll be out of his comfort zone. But I don't think it's the best environment to throw that young man into. He can be a bit passive. He's very much an Arsenal player. He's very much a cultured player to be. It's a time. But I think that one day is an off the bench sort of thing. I don't think he's ready to be thrown in. But he would learn. Same premise as Balogun. He would learn a lot. He would learn a lot by playing there. So why not, man? Give these boys a chance, I guess, really and truly. You know, is what it is. Leicester fan. Hi, I'm a Leicester fan, but I sub to you because you talk so much sense. I'm really appreciative of that, my guy. Shout out to your team because you got a good manager in Brendan Rodgers. Your team is handling business this season. And your fans can be proud of your team and the collective effort because, you know, Brendan Rodgers couldn't do his job properly if Leicester didn't only hold on to players they want to hold on to and recruit well. So you have to give credit to those above him. Credit to him as a manager. Credit to the owners for, you know, wanting to be something and whatnot, man. Yeah, Saka and Miguel Aziz are completely different. You're not listening to me, Raz. You know, they're of 2 different scales. If you saw Saka and you watch my videos, you know they're 2 different things. And like I said, Aziz should get opportunities, but to start, he's not ready. Like, he's not. And if you're watching him on a regular basis, he's not ready. You know, we need to curb our enthusiasm. We do a bit of that over Balogun. I'm not saying he shouldn't be given an opportunity, but there's time and a place, and the environment has to be right. And do I think he will sink or swim in that midfield? I don't even think he'll sink. He'll instantly go down there. He'll be ready in a year or 2. You know, be ready in a year, 18 months. Just let him develop, you know. And it's the passive nature of him in midfield as well. Aziz is a baller. Defensively, he's got a lot to work on, and that's where he struggled. So I hear what you're saying, but Saka was a bit of a different one. You know, you get them occasional Sakas and Jack Wilsheres, them guys there that are 16 and ready. Miguel Aziz isn't one of them. He's going to. You know, by the age of what? How old is he? 17, 18. By the time he's 20, I assume he'd made a significant amount of appearances at Arsenal Football Club. I think he should be off the bench and getting travelled though. But starting, get rid of that, man. Have to get rid of that one, man. Big up my guy DG, watching from States before work. Appreciative, man. You know, it's going to be a long day at the office for you based on how we played yesterday. But nonetheless, man, you know, it is a good chance, but you're not going to see it, my bro. Hate to break it down to you. I think we should still push in these dead rubber games to try and build confidence going into the next season. We should, man. We should. Like I said, but for me, I think just give the young players confidence, man. Like I said, people like Balogun, you play them, they get into preseason full of confidence. You know, I'd arguably say Reece Nelson, Eddie Nketiah, these sort of guys, you know, Callum Chambers, El Nene, regardless, these are people who their contracts are kind of dividing people. Do you play them to throw them in the shop window? I'm going to get onto it a bit later, people, and please don't let me forget. But one thing that does scare me about this football club is I genuinely think they've woke up today and they're like, cool, let's get the work built, let's get the work for next season done. The bulk of the business that we're doing in terms of incomings, it should be a case of dotting I's and crossing T's. That's what you're going to see hella teams do. With us, I don't know. How much work you can do without moving players on, I don't know. And like you can see, we're going to be in a lot of problems, man. Nah, it's all love, Raz, man. I would love it to happen. I would love it to happen, but I just don't believe right now in my heart. It's like Joel Lopez when you lot are like start him at left back in our injury crisis. I'm like I'm like, no, I don't really feel it. Like, and again, I don't ever lie to you lot, people, man. So yeah, man, it's what it is. A man said, might send the email to Arsenal now. I'm trying to play Sunday. He's saying, pay your £5 sub and get a look in, man. Why should we give these guys confidence? What, the young players? I'm only talking about the young players, and what have the young players done? You know what? I don't know what our young players have done to not deserve to be given confidence. You know, maybe I'm reading something that's not meant for me, but fair play. Nana has said, hey, DG, how you doing? And everyone, I'm good. And on behalf of everyone, with as good as we can be, I hope everyone else is in good spirits, man. But boy, apart from that, I don't know, man. I really don't know, man. Man, it's just, I really thought the owner, just as long as the owner if the owner sells the club, I'll be a lot better, man. Hopefully restarts against West Brom. Hopefully, my dude. But can I see it? Probably not. You know, he deserves to. Martinelli needs to be unleashed. Again, earlier, you know, go back to my other live stream if you want to see my extended thoughts in relation to the press conference Arteta did both last night following the exit of the Europa League and, pardon me, today going into West Brom. So I'm not going to cover it all. In relation to West Brom, before I get into other stuff and we start looking at transfer business and, well, not that there's much, I just want to talk on the lineup. There's not much more for me to say. My luck, you can see here with my notes. It's a dead rubber game, as much as I hate to call it that. What's the point? Can you give Nelson and Balogun, these guys, lineup some opportunities in the lineup? Whether that's to get them as first teamers, whether that's to play them to be on the loan market, play them to leave permanently. Obviously, again, now it's about the shop window. Again, I have nothing against El Nene. I have nothing against Callum Chambers, but just add Lacazette, just on the basis of people move like, you know, one has to leave, none of them have to leave. Whatever your opinions on all of them, they're contracted until 2022, people. So whether we're keeping them, selling them, you know, out of all three of them, would you give any of them a new deal for an extended period of time? And I'm not saying a 1 year deal. If you would not give these guys a 3-year deal, then what are they doing here, sort of thing? Can we play them into the shop window among other players as well? I'm not just saying them three, you get the point. So for me, with looking at the lineup, can we give Tierney some minutes? Again, I want to be wary of the fact that we had to force him starting on Thursday, you know, playing on Sunday, it might be dangerous, but can you give him 60 minutes? And then, you know, we obviously want him to start against Chelsea away regardless. So play his way into that. You know, I'm always an advocate of the option of, if it can be done, of playing Saka at left back, do it. But I don't really want Saka to play any part. The man's burnt out. We're burning out our young talent, you know, and one has to wonder, as much as Saka is being burnt out physically, mentally, you know, the man's still a young man. You know, it's been quite the rise for Saka very early on. You know, I'm sure, you know, we know he's humble, his feet are on the ground, and I'm sure he has to pinch himself from time to time, but it's pretty daunting, you know, just going from being a relative unknown to, let's be real, a global Arsenal superstar, in England international. All of these things play a part on you physically. He's still a young man. He's still discovering himself as a young man and all the things that come with that, let alone be an Arsenal one. And obviously what's happening with our season. So can we save this young man and just take him out of the lineup? You know, there's no need for Bukayo Saka to play any minutes. You know, I love the guy, but let's protect our young players now. Again, so who knows? Like I said, I'm a big fan of the Saka there if need be, but there's no point doing it, really and truly, is there? There's little to no point doing it. Cedric, you know, they said you're in hospital, so I don't know his fitness. Again, there's every reason to just say no, Tierney. Just train and go again on Wednesday. Slap Cedric at left back. You probably just play Bellerin at right back. But for me, with deleting that, I've gone with Matt Ryan. I've gone with Matt Ryan personally in goal. Again, like somebody said earlier, for me personally, it's not even that Leno's done nothing. Ironically, specific to the Europa League, apart from probably questionable distribution, I don't think Leno's done anything wrong. But Matt Ryan hasn't done anything wrong in his opportunities. I can't lie. In a day and age where we're kind of done with this Arsenal team, no one thinks Matt Ryan is amazing. But I can't lie. I like his enthusiasm. Like, he's enthusiastic. You know, again, I don't think he's the best thing since sliced bread. But I've got a lot of time for his mentality. You can tell. You tell a man be prepared. He's prepared. You know, you don't need to. You can tell Matt Ryan is of the mentality to be part of a squad of an Arsenal team that we would like it to be. You don't have to tell him the same thing twice. He takes accountability. You can tell he's serious with it. Martinez was also of that nature, to be fair with you. So for me, Matt Ryan plays. Also, he helps out Gabriel. Like you saw, they were speaking in Portuguese and that. Chambers and Gabriel ain't been done before, and I know, you know, West Brom have them street smart strikers and whatnot, and we need to be wary of someone like Matt Phillips, who is again very street smart. But surely, if you can't get away with Chambers and Gabriel in this game, then you never will. I think for Chambers, it allows him to play centre half. Obviously, you get Cedric in there. Again, like I said, there's every case of just starting Bellerin again. Personally, depending on Tierney's fitness, ideally move Cedric over there. Go with with Bellerin if you want to keep Chambers at centre half. I don't know what Gabriel has to do to play. You know, I think what shags Gabriel is that he's still learning. Clearly, Arteta is a bit cowardly in that regards, and he's reluctant in playing you. You know, if there's no David Luiz, you're not going to play really and truly. We've done the Holding thing. I don't think he's convinced on that. I think Holding should come out the lineup. Not that he's anything to blame apart from just being a member of the poor collective performance, but that's the defensive back five, including Matt Ryan. Now we'll go with midfield again. You know, again, we played at, Xhaka played unnecessarily against Newcastle, and we've been relying on Xhaka. And no matter, shout out to Xhaka. Like I said earlier, the man's durable. He's been fit. He's been playing well. And I think it's, for seasons, he's been an ever present, whether you rate him or not. He's been an ever present. But we've been gambling, there's always a chance, even the most solid of products. If you overuse something, you will start seeing wear and tear. And lo and behold, he's hurt himself. And realistically, as much as I've admiration for Xhaka, and he's been all right this season within the context of what Granit Xhaka is, anytime your team is kind of Xhaka's the nucleus or Xhaka is the heartbeat, you're going to be in a problem. He should be a spare part at best, with respect to Xhaka. You miss him in the team. Like, let's be real. So that, realistically, Xhaka shouldn't play no part. Save the players, man. I know Xhaka, it's another time. Xhaka's mentality. You want to play, save the man from himself. He's got Euros to think about, really, again. But all the games mean nothing relatively in the season now. But I'd rather, if anything, Xhaka missed this game, Tierney potentially as well, go again at Stamford Bridge in the week. So yeah, man, it gets a bit political and it gets like that, people. In terms of the midfield, I'll be real. Who the hell plays, man? Who the hell plays? Because there's Ceballos, there's El Nene, Partey, is there a need? You know what? Okay, man. Partey off after 60 minutes. I know he's probably gonna go with Ceballos, but I'm not on it, man. I'm not on it. In terms of the midfield, for me, I'll go with you, man, because he was better than Odegaard. I think Odegaard he looks mentally like he needs to take a break. He's had an injury. I don't know if he's fully fit and he's playing on that. If he is, take him out. Smith Rowe looked better in the week, so I'll go with Smith Rowe. Another one who ideally you're on a rest, but someone's there. Now, if Lacazette's fit enough to start, Lacazette would start for me, people. For me, really, he said Lacazette could only get 10 minutes. I hear the Aubameyang ones. In an ideal world, I would personally, I'd actually do this. If I could, I'd actually go Martinelli. That would be it. Pepe, Balogun, Martinelli. That would be my first choice. But again, I don't think that's going to be the case. I really don't. So again, I don't think Nelson is going to start. I think at best he'll come off that bench, and I hope he starts because Arteta says I need to give opportunities and stuff. Give a man an opportunity now, innit, people? So for me, I'll probably a next lineup I will go with, assuming people are fit. You're going to see the one constant is Pepe for me. And then I'll go with a Martinelli. Martinelli has to start. Balogun off the bench. If Balogun don't, I would like Balogun to start. You get more minutes, but I think he at least needs to come off this bench and actually forget all of that. Actually be on the bench. So you could go with a that. If Pepe's not a thing and Pepe's getting a rest, then obviously you could look to do something like that. Or obviously on top of that, you could go with a Nelson, a Laka. I mean, sorry, a Balogun, oh, and then still Martinelli off that left hand side. So again, I'd be happy with any of them. If you was asking me my first choice, I would say the one in the blue, Pepe, Balogun through the middle, and Martinelli. But you know, if Lacazette is fit, for me, you go Pepe, Lacazette, Martinelli. Let Lacazette get some minutes. You know, Lacazette's not going to play the whole 90. That's where you bring on your Balogun. You give him his experience. Obviously, Reece Nelson off the bench, and do what you can in that regards, man. And you know, if Laka plays, then I want Smith Rowe behind him personally, if I'm completely honest with you, because we all know what the link-up play has. I don't want Bukayo Saka to play a part. Xhaka, if fit, I don't want him to play a part. There's every reason to say, do you know what? Get rid of Partey and go with Ceballos. But again, obviously, any sort of fluidity is going to be out the team. I know Ceballos isn't nice to watch on the best of days, and that's saying that about someone who's fantastic technically is quite shameful. But Ceballos probably gets a look in. I think he will buckle and go with Odegaard personally. I think what he'll actually do is he'll take out Partey, because he's been known to drop Partey. And I think Smith Rowe will drop out. And I think he'll go with Odegaard personally. I think that will be his lineup personally. We'll have to see, people. But in terms of anything we can talk about in relation to West Bromwich Albion, or that silly excuse of a game, you know, a dead rubber game between these two sides, it is what it is. Hopefully we can do the double over them. You know, it's still a lot to play for by that credibility. You know, hopefully we can do the double. They're already relegated. Sam Allardyce is them, you know, just the fact that Sam Allardyce manages that club, is the big enough reason for that, if I'm completely honest, man. We'll have to see, but we know what we're getting. We're playing against a low block. You know, we're playing against the low block. They're going to look to create from wide areas. Once again, they have got quality. You know, Matt Phillips, I wouldn't say he's quality, but he's street smart. The whole team is street smart. They're going to be specialists. There's going to be no Maitland-Niles, of course. So, yeah, we know what to expect, man. But beyond that, if the players don't, is what it is. James, pardon me. The only reason I care is because I'm gonna be here with you guys, you know, speaking and whatnot. But apart from that, it's dead, man. It's dead. You know, if I didn't have this YouTube channel and didn't have the great community we've built, there'll be no need to watch this. But I owe it to you lot, man. It is what it is. Abdullah, man, I made you a moderator and you've just been rubbing salt in the wounds, man. Allow me, bro. What have you said? Big up my bro DG. Imagine you, man, swipe West Brom and we win champs. Arsenal fans will say Arsenal, West Brom, Chelsea. Arsenal the best team in Europe. Hey, man, you lot tried to convince us Hudson-Odoi was better than Saka, so allow us, man. But wait to go to kick a man while it's down, man. Kick a man while they're down, man. You proud of yourself, my guy. It's all love, man. You know, that's how you know we're the biggest club in London. You, man, are in 2 finals and you're here thinking about me. I've got to do that. I've got to play that card. There's no other card to play, man. I ain't got no Yu-Gi-Oh cards to play now. It's peak for me right now. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, man. What else are you lot saying? 1-1 is saying, Deluded, can you please review Arteta's press conference? I didn't see it. Head to the timestamps of my last stream before this. I've done it, my guy, man. I've done it. So you're there, man. I think I mentioned that earlier as well, man. I appreciate that, my bro. If only I know, if only I knew what the process was. Like I said, I have no problem trusting the process. I always give the Rome example. You know, if Rome was built in a day, if Rome wasn't built in a day, but once again, when I go past this building site, can you show me some plumbing, some cement, some site managers ticking stuff off? I need to see certain things like that. I don't see none of that really. I'm seeing. Really, it's looking, you know, it's like we're building foundations on sand. When we're playing these half-decent teams, with these excuses of Premier League teams, we're shining. The minute it rains, like conceding a goal away from home in Spain, we're being revealed for the frauds we are, man. You know, it's a madness. I appreciate that, my guy, man. I appreciate that, man. It is what it is, though, man. This is why, on a serious note, I appreciate the fans of Arsenal, of course, but I appreciate the rest. I feel Nketiah will play on Sunday. I feel that as well, my dude, because realistically, you know, it doesn't matter who we rate and don't rate. If we look at it, you're allowed more subs on the bench. Lacazette, Martinelli, and Eddie all have made that bench in Europa League. That tells you that these 3 are ahead of him in the pecking order. Balogun I'm speaking about. So naturally, you probably will see Eddie and Nketiah Lacazette, you know, he said Lacazette's only got 10, 15 minutes in the tank. I don't see that changing over a couple of days. So you're probably right, Bowie. You know, it's probably Nketiah. I'd probably say what, Nketiah, Pepe, Martinelli, because I don't think Nelson's gonna be there. You know, you're making me change my mind, my guy. This is why I love my channel, because you lot come with some different perspectives and stuff. But yeah, and to be fair, I don't mind that, because the cynic in me, you know, there's no time for love now. You know, I like Eddie. Part of me would give him a new deal or loan him out, just to kind of what we could do with Mavropanos, in that you loan them out, they improve. It don't mean they're coming back at Arsenal. It just means you could have grabbed 10 million one year. Now you can grab 20. Do you get it? It's like crypto. Everyone wants a profit. Do you get it? I don't mind doing things like that. And he's one of them. But the cynic in me says, you know what, El Nene, Chambers, because, you know, Chambers has been a good, you know, I ain't got no beef with Chambers this season, but he's contracted until 2022. I'm sure many people can find a reason for the Chambers is to stay, the El Nenes to stay. You know, I like Lacazette, and I don't really want to group him into that, but the same contract to stay. I hear that, but you know, we need to get rid of these, man, or use these guys to kind of take us to the next level, bro. That money for Alwa and all these guys not being in the Champions League or Europe full stop, they're gonna need to find it. And one thing that I hope there's confidence. Well, one thing I would like to have confidence is, you know, logically, you know, like I said, learn from hindsight and apply better foresight. Let's be real, Arsenal fans. Yeah, there's been, mathematically we can do it in the league. You know, if we get to the Europa, if we get to the final in Europa, if we win FA Cup last year, throughout all the parts in this season, we've had these little things we can hide behind. None of that is there now, people. So we need to see it for what it is. And for a while, surely, or you would hope, the people above Arteta as well, because he has a hand in transfers now, but you would hope they're seeing that and they're comprehending that. And for me, in business, you always have to hope for the best but forecast the worst. The worst being there's no Europe. That no Europe means even less money. How are we maneuvering? So I really, really, really hope that, with that being said, it means that the bulk of our business is being done, and being in Europe or not doesn't deter too many of our dealings. Away from that, realistically, you know, it's going to have a knock-on effect. It's going to stretch the pennies even further in terms of our wage bill and how we stay afloat in that regards. And that's actually my worry as well, is that, well, you know, I would like to hope that they've seen, like, last night was a game coming, people. But for me, I'm starting to genuinely believe, was last night a thing where, I would be worried if they woke up and said, we're going to act now. I want to see it needs to happen, but that would worry me, because once again, that's reactive. Realistically, you know, we're only actually even more angrier because of the contexts of going out in that game and the obvious. But if we look at it, we drew 0-0. Let's not look at the fact that it's a two-legged tie. We drew 0-0, right? Forget the competitions. We've had heavier defeats that should have made up that noise, should have made people feel how we're feeling, should have made the board want to act if they're acting, right? Am I lying, people? Not just the context of that game, of course, is heavier and the stakes are heavy and whatnot. But nothing, you know, that result, that performance, better yet, we can probably review all the games in the Premier League and things, and we've seen that sort of thing, whether it's not shooting, conceding cheap goals, whatever. We've seen that 9 times out of 10, week in, week out. So we should have been knowing that, you know, really and truly. And what scares me is that I don't think we're planning, because the bulk of businesses, the bulk of the transfers, obviously you're going to get 1-2 odd, and with it being a Euros, that complicates things. But people that understand football know what I'm speaking about. The majority of this business that's going to be done across all clubs is done now. It was done in December. It was done in the group stages. You know, people as we speak are having dinner now. It's done. You know, but we're gonna wait. It's like last season. It just feels like we're gonna wake up in July or June, or whenever the window technically opens, it goes, oh bloody hell, the window's open. You know, it's time to get moving. You know, because other clubs, you know, you don't mess around with Saliba's development. You know, you clock from early. The man's not levels, let's loan him out. You don't mess around with Partey. You get him in early so Arteta can work with him and maybe try to find out a pivot. You know, if you're going to get rid of Ozil, you just bite the bullet and do it in August so that you can do other things. You know, you force the issue with a Martin Odegaard in August. I know he never got the football and stuff, but my point being, we could all see we needed a number 10. We needed a couple of options in midfield. You make sure Smith Rowe's getting his opportunities, because cynics might say it was injuries that caused that. Again, the bulk of the business needs to be done. We've known for about 5, probably even 10 years, the midfield pivots have been dead. We need variety in our midfield. I think we need, in comparison to, as well as Partey, we need probably another 6. I would like another 8. You know, if Odegaard goes and doesn't stay for at least a year minimum with no Europe at all, you know, hopefully that you know, I would like to mean that we go for a 10. We need depth, and obviously you know, we're probably going to need a smaller squad next year if you look at it, because we're not going to be in Europe at all. So, you know, that's less chances for young players. That's something a lot of players got to bear in mind. Even Balogun now, you know, I'm sure even has that tipped the scale. And other club reacting to this. Cool, there's less games, so you need a less, you know, Arteta said even with Europa League, we've got a bloated squad. So are we going to sell players now? Young players that were going to get opportunities, do they need to go everywhere else? Because suddenly, what, you kill those 6 games. Now there's not 6 extra games in October, September to December sort of thing, people. January, whenever the group stages are. Suddenly you kill those extra 6 games, you know. Suddenly it's not a case of that. So are we ready to react? You know, and again, we need one, like I've said before, and I'll say it again and I'll say it a million times. Selling certain young players, selling certain players in general, they might be the best options. They might be wrong. But what I need to see, definitely off the back of what I saw yesterday, make a decision and make sure you follow through. Because Maitland-Niles, it looked like my man was out, and then he had a game against Liverpool. Fair play, those sort of things happen in football, but now he's in the team. And now, you know, we're probably going to be oohing and ahhing in August as to what happens. Joe Willock the same. Now, I'm not saying make hasty decisions. I'm saying make decisions and double down on them. That's who we're selling. That's who we're getting rid of. Because we're not, and Kroenkes are not going to invest, you know, and they need to go, and they're part of the problem. But in terms of what we can contain, in terms of the money we have had available and how we've used our resources, whether it's been Kroenke, you know, not Kroenke, because that's an obvious one. Whether it's been Edu or whoever, Sanye, we haven't utilized our resources well. You know, certain man get Thiago Silva on a free. Certain man get Willian. It says it all, giving him a 3-year deal. You know, it's not just the big money signings that you have to ooh and ah at. It's the free transfers. It's the loan signings. Get these things right, because you can't afford to waste a penny. You can't. You've wasted too many. You can't afford to get it wrong. You know, you need to know, okay, cool. Clearly, Partey needs a partner. Who are we signing? That should have been done the moment you signed him. And it goes back to what I said in the last live stream, and that for me, it sounds stupid, but it's like we're just signing good players or players that are having standout seasons or young players being spoken about. We're not looking how they tie into the system. Do you get it? We're not doing none of that. It's not making sense. The last time it looked like we tried to do that, we brought in players that weren't quite levels and all had mixed success. Torreira, apart from sadly what happened to his mother, shown that he's a bit soft and not with it mentally to stay in England. Guendouzi's been a loose cannon for all his abilities. Socrates was a limited centre-half, better than people gave him credit for, limited. Leno is Leno. You know my feelings on Leno. It didn't bang. It didn't bang. There's no structure. Even with Leno, you brought in Leno. He's not had a decent back five. We talk about you. If you look at that defense, does it scream longevity? You're on one hand, yes. On the other hand, no. You're playing young centre halves 1 minute, then the other. You know you're bringing in Saliba next year. Who is going to be the partner? If that's Gabriel and Saliba together over 38 games minimum in the league, do you have, which I would like to see, are you fully ready to comprehend? There's going to be games they're both sick. There's going to be games. You've seen the mistakes Gabriel has made this season. You've seen the mistakes Saliba has made at St. Etienne and Nice. This isn't to mock them or get at them. This is just a fact. They're young players. They're learning. They're developing. There's going to be times they show that age. To get them to the next level, who is going to be that guy for when it's not always a Gabriel and Saliba thing? You know, in the medium term, it might have to be Gabriel and the new David Luiz, and maybe because Marie's left-footed in Saliba. You know, in midfield, what are you going to do? You know, are we selling Guendouzi, who sadly his season's done now after hurting himself and his Euros might be in doubt? How does that even complicate it? Joe Willock, again, I don't think we should make any hasty decisions. But what is Joe Willock saying? What are we saying on Joe? Whether you want to sell him or not, if you could sell him, how are you going to reinvent that? Because for me, you know me, I'm a Haaland guy. I love all the Haaland youngsters. But if selling Joe, Nelson, Eddie, you know, getting rid of a Guendouzi, obviously selling to Rev, getting rid of these guys, Maitland-Niles, if you're going to get rid of these guys, do it properly and bring in a quality number 8 to play with Partey. Bring in a bridge sort of centre half. You know, it goes without saying right back, because we're a special club. Some clubs will say we've got hella depth at right back. We've had Maitland there, Chambers there, Cedric there, Bellerin there, you know. 4 man. Whose spot is that? Whose spot is that? Because right now, I'd like to throw my hat in the ring, you know. Really, I'm a fullback. I'd like to throw my hat in the ring. You know, I'd like to play on Sunday, try to do my thing. You know, we need a right back. It goes without saying. I shouldn't, with respect to right back, no one grows up wanting to be a right back. We shouldn't be talking about right back this much, you know. And again, if you don't have a back five, how can you have a functioning midfield? You ain't got a functioning midfield. How can you have a functioning attack? Our first line of defense is our strikers. Our first attacker is Leno. City are brilliant at showing that example. How many goals has Ederson set up on his ones? Ederson's a better playmaker than certain man in the middle of our park. You know, you see the pressing from City. There's many ways to defend. Now we can't damn right just defend properly, you know, clearing our lines, pushing up at the same time, looking over our shoulders. But there's also defending from the front with a coordinated press. There's also, you know, possession is 9/10 of the law, and possession can be boring, but depending on what you do with possession, whether that's being on a consistent offense or holding on to the ball, that's a form of defense. Instead, it just looks like we're the only team in the league that got out freestyling. You look at us, but us, Sheffield United, bro, we're dead. Like, you look at them, they're probably the only teams you look at and you're like, what the hell are you, man, about? And I was going to say West Brom, but Big Sam's coming. We all know the mandate was to stay in the league. So what scares me is that I think the work, these lot will just think, oh, this is bad, man. We need to get moving. I hope the business is done. You know, for me, I just want competent players. Whatever role you're in, if you're a defender, can you defend? With Leno's mistake a couple of weeks ago, can you actually catch if you're a goalie and hold on to it? Consistent. No good being able to do it on Sunday, you know, against Newcastle if you can't do it on a Thursday in a must-win Europa League, you know. And like I said, consistency, competency, and confidence, because the fans are going to turn on you. The world is going to turn on you. You lot need to have a siege mentality and keep balance. You know, I do see a couple confident man. I don't see enough. You know, I need to see some nastiness. I need to see some, pardon my language, nasty bastards, because there's players that can pass the ball forward. There's no one with the ruggedness to see out a game. There's no one that's dying to win. It's almost like, okay, I get the vibe that it's five-a-side with Arsenal a lot of the time. It's like, we'll come, we'll try to play a little football, we lose, all right, boys, same again next week. You know, send the money into the account, please. It's that, you know, certain men are dying to win, you know. To be honest, Power League can get like that as well. Maybe not, yeah. So you get, there's two sorts of Power League footballers. So we'll have to see. That's what scares me, people. That genuinely is what scares me, is that they're going to sleepwalk. And if you've not done the planning, it all has a knock-on effect. As much as Arteta is out of his depth, this is where I mean accountability. There's no mandate from KROENKE to be serious. He hasn't given Arteta really anything to work with, you know. So Edu has had to be working with scraps. On top of being incompetent, he's had to work with scraps. Somehow we've been reactive, found the money for Partey. We haven't brought in the other thing. So like you can see, because the owner doesn't want to be serious, Edu hasn't been able to fix all the areas. Now Arteta's been given tools, or been given half a tool. You know, you'll give a man the screw, you'll give a man the nails, and you won't give a man a hammer. So what is he going to do in that regards? Do you get it? It's these sort of things. You give a guy a controller and you ain't got batteries. It's that sort of stuff Arsenal's rolling with. You know, it really is. You know, it really is. Buying football boots and you ain't got a ball. Like, it's not making sense, is it? And then you've got someone who don't understand, you know, if like with the football example, it's like Arteta's been given the ball with no boots. I mean, given the boots with no ball, and then he doesn't know how to tie up his laces. You know, he's trying to tie up his laces in some next ways. This is the problem we've got as a football club. You can see how it trickles down as much as you can hold them all accountable. And that's why the club needs to change. We've been making these processes, poor choice of processes, for years. It's not going to change overnight. Like I said, Rome wasn't built in a day. But I would just like to see that first wheel change and spin in another direction. I can't see that happening at this club. And I'm scared that the planning for next season is going to start now, because Arteta can speak as bullish as he wants in the market, you know. He said this last year and it didn't happen. And I hope these guys have reacted a lot. I hope these guys are ready to react in the way, if we somehow was to go get Europe, whether that's Europa League, Champions League, and in the worst case scenario, what's our exit plan? Where the first, like what we're in now, 25 years, first Arsenal team that will not be playing in Europe. How are we getting out of that? How are we moving on? Because on one hand, I feel what people are saying, yo, we're playing once a week, this and that, we're going to be all right, boom, boom, boom. What happens when we're playing once a week and we're still effing up? Because we played once a week on occasion this season, where they've had time to prepare, where the manager himself has said we've had time to prepare. And then what? We've lost the teams that have probably played 40. How many times have we played once a week? We've bucked teams that have played twice, and more time they've played twice closer to the kickoff game where we've played them. And we've sat there and said they look fresher than us. Are they fresher, or are they just fucking switched on? It's you lot's decision to decide. And apologies for my language, but can you blame me? I want Nelson to start. Front line of dreams. Nelson hasn't been shown any faith. EG, the only pundit keeping us sane while Arsenal calls us pain. Good bars. I don't know. I don't know if I'm keeping you lot sane, man. But appreciative, man. Appreciative. Appreciate all of you lot here, man. Miss KROENKE has sold Asda. Maybe he will follow. with Arsenal, bro. Arsenal's probably gonna print a positive balance sheet somehow. Arsenal's my man's collateral because he knows as callous as it is, as poor as Arsenal is, I'm still here streaming. You lot are here listening and speaking. We're gonna be watching. Sadly, people are gonna be buying tickets, probably myself included, when we're let back in. And it kills me to say it because we're so emotionally attached. I ain't been to Arsenal in months, and he knows this. The club was sold to the devil a long time ago. And no matter how much we moan, the club is still, football is an illogical sport, in any walk of life. If we had this unhealthy attachment and something was causing us this much consistent stress, we'd be in problems, wouldn't we? We'd be in problems, man. They wouldn't last a day, man. Then they're getting scruffed up. DG can start right back for us. Trust me, balls over the top might be a problem, but, try a thing. Arteta lucky there's no fans in the library. If they were, it'd be gone. You man need to turn on that like button. Why haven't we even hit 200, let alone 100? Oh, that's a shame, man. Where are we in terms of likes? 113, man. Let's keep going, people. Let's keep going. Don't forget to like the vid, like my man said. My manners is poor. Quick message from the sponsors before we get back into this, folks. Or in fact, wait. Oh, are we? Apologies, people. Technical difficulties. Come on, people. Shout out to you lot. But let's keep moving, man. Mohammed, I hope you're well and safe, man. Feel the pain in a man's voice. Appreciate that, man. Are you going to win the league next season? Bro, if team's sitting ninth, what league? Like, what league? Let's just focus on looking like a competent team, man. Simple as that, man. I'm not hearing the once a week thing because when we had games where we had a week off and they would play twice, we got smoked, we're dusted. We saying the excuses are not running thin. Again, Arteta talks about time and no preseason. Again, a next thing, thinking about it logically, I've done a video on this and let me make my timestamp up. Again, this, sorry people, this is all coming to me again. I'm getting deja vu and I have to mention it. Arteta, you probably won't get a preseason again. Now, the only saving grace to him is that certain players are not going to get called up. I don't know if Saka's going to make the England squad. Holding, Bellerin, probably Lacazette, Chambers. None of these guys are going to make it either. But, we've heard there's Olympics. I'm sure I could be wrong, but I'm sure there's Olympics. I'm sure there's Copa America. I'm sure there's Euros. Now, at least a couple of your players, again, England, fortunately, England didn't qualify for the latter stages of the under-21s. So you're going to have Smith Rowe. But, prospective incoming players and a couple of your players that are actually good, they're not going to be here as well. They're not going to be here. And I'm sure any other teams that have competitions to play, I know there's no Toulon, I know there's a couple of tournaments not being played, but you're going to have a muddled preseason again. So it's not, the excuses are not making anything clear to me. I would be keen to see, because he cries so much about preseason, you'd have not a preseason again, like I've just said, but you'd have some sort of preseason. Then you're playing once a week. Then I sure as hell might have to see something. Have to see some. Maybe that will help them. I don't buy it because it's only relevant when you're not winning. When we was getting top four, we weren't crying about that. Like when we was winning, we weren't crying about that. When we was dusting past all these teams in the Europa League, we weren't crying about that. Europa League, you don't have to take it seriously to the latter stages where we start looking poor. Again, that probably means less chances for young players, instantly, because you immediately eliminated the need for them. Not also just starting the game, but coming off the bench as well. So I'm keen to see what's happening, man. I'm keen to see what happens in that regard. Really keen, because you're going to have a muddled preseason at best. You've still got, there's a hell of a lot to do. And also, I don't know which players are going to be playing for what countries and stuff. Again, that also makes bringing in people tough. Again, the excuses are not not making sense really and truly, man. Preseason or not, there's no relevance for not having for players not looking like they have clarity as to what they need to do. Again, some of these excuses, quote unquote, are valid. Some of them sound exactly that, of excuses. It only goes so far, and it's like, Arteta, but you're crying about that. But you know what's around the corner? Like, you're not gonna have a preseason again. Like, maybe you man should have pushed for the Super League, man. I'm playing, man. F full of that. To be honest, with Arsenal fans around the world, Arteta is not the problem. The problem is in the hands of the board. I think we can have more than one problem. You know, I think the problem can be what the manager's doing. I think the long term problem and the overlying factor, whether you know, because Arteta could have been a success. You know, he could still be, which I hope so. He could have been a success. You know, everything he touched could have turned to gold. We could be top four. There's a flip side of this. You know, we could be top four. We could be doing what we want. The board still would show their incompetence. Whether this team somehow wins the league next year, which is definitely not going to happen, but a man can dream. The board still need to go. They need to go. The owner, the board, they need to go. It's as simple as that. You know, we all need. I don't see winners. We can only go so far. Interested to see what role Richard Garlick has as director of football when he joins on May the 17th. Amazing to think Arteta will be his boss and not the other way around. But he'll probably just be doing up contracts, man. And then hopefully we see less of it, probably helping Edu. Hopefully we see less of the Ballagans, the Sakas, the Aubameyans, Kiddo, Taylor Hart, these contracts running out and into the last year and things like that, man. Some of these problems are so simple, but we make it so difficult. Trust me. AFCON next year. Again, it probably is. What is it? Have they moved it yet? And this is it. Again, I don't know if AFCON's been moved to the summer. There was talk of that, or it's still in January, but you've got AFCON, you've got the Olympics. And again, how are you going to react to that? Now, saving grace could be for them that were playing once a week. Now, could you imagine if we had Europe? This is it. Are they learning from hindsight and applying better foresight? It's up to them, man. This is it, Tony, man. There's too many excuses. All teams suffer during the season. Stop belly hacking and get on with it. Trust me. Injuries, we know, like, I'm not being funny, we play football. It's like being a fireman. You must know there's a risk of your face getting burnt or your hand getting burnt or some sort of lifetime injuries. Or if you're a chef, you know you're going to slash your hand once. There's occupational hazards. We know there's injuries, you know. The thing is, our manager and the club talk a lot about fine margins. And when fine margins pop up, rather than be proactive, we bottle it. A fine margin for me off the field would be, again, I'm not saying to keep not like a Kolasinac or Maitland-Niles because it is what it is. But the basis of cover at left back, if there's a possibility of Tierney getting an injury, Saka being used elsewhere, you know you need backup. And they knew it because they tried to get Ryan Bertrand in. And I think Van Aanholt, there might have been someone else. We said, no, it's all right. You can't take chances. Can't take chances. It's crazy, man. And the thing is, regardless, it's just the club could be something, man. That's what kills me. Like, if the club would then never have this Emirates, never had the previous history we had, the club could be something. Like, it can be something. The problems are not easy, but just if there was an owner with ambition, the club could be something. That's what kills me, man. What's your thoughts on Daniel Ek? Big up yourself, Vivek. I mean, I like what he says. I like what he's talking about, but by the club will like make a bid, my brother. I heard at the end of the week, you know, we heard end of the week you're making a bid. I ain't heard or seen none of that. So it sounded like chattings, man. It sounded like chattings. Really? I don't. Tottenham are in another pickle because Levy and Joe Lewis and whoever owns that club, they're not on selling that. Like, it's crazy, man. And again, like, should we look at Arteta's? Should we look at, you know, it's unfair to just say Arteta, but for me, the league don't lie, man. Like, the league don't lie. There's been too many excuses and fine margins. Look at the Premier League, and I'm not on this I told you so business because nobody knows everything all the time. And I hope you lot can see. If you can't, let me zoom in a tiny bit, people. That should be good, yeah. But those of you that are subscribed to me, yeah, I told you lot from these games here, we're looking fraudulent, we're looking boogie, word to who is he, we're looking dodgy, you know. Remember Eddie and Ketia saved us in this game. Bearing in mind we was doing a madness with the tactics around these times anyways, people. I know you remember this Wolves game. I'm sure Gabriel scored. Was doing a madness them times. But do you remember the Fulham game? Fair enough. It was against Fulham. Fulham were not the team they're actually now. You know, we played. I told you lot when we was playing Fulham again. You know, Fulham were two different teams. Lo and behold, they did what they did in the first game against us, where we battered them. Second leg, you know, Matt Ryan's having to play key parts in goals, and we saved our bacon. But that game we was quality, you know. Liverpool, we went into it with a defeative mindset. Eddie Nketiah saved us against West Ham, who hopefully are his future employers. Do you lot remember the Sheffield United game? We turned it around in the second half, where again we're talking about why do we need to wait until the second half to change things, people. Again, that was that. City, we was like, oh, it's a 1-0, it's not as bad. You know, this was a terrible time to be an Arsenal fan. I remember this period, you know, because straight after beating Leicester, where, again, Mikel Arteta set us up, I felt half decent. But, because remember, we was controlling that half. We was controlling the first half of that game. This is what I'm saying. Arteta is a specialist at, I think he can prepare it. Listen, when he plays them random false nines and we play like how we did already, I can't sit here and say what I'm about to say, but I think Arteta can plan stuff. I think he can plan a game plan. I think he can go and look on them fancy programs. They look at football and all the fancy angles and all of that. I think he can prepare people for games. But when you get into that game and some other variable gets thrown into it, it's like, because he couldn't calculate that was going to happen, which is the problem in itself. He can't. It's like it's almost, I don't know if he's blasé, arrogant, or his mind doesn't process. I need to switch it up. Because I remember Brendan Rodgers, remember that game? They switched up in the second half and then they robbed the game. You know, fair play. We beat United away from home. Give him credit. But then the same thing that I'm saying about Brendan Rodgers, Dean Smith did that. You know, fair enough. There was a sense that, you know, I'm not really going to get onto Arteta because that's another problem in the Leeds game of stupid individual mistakes. It was a Pepe flashpoint. But away from that red card, our midfield was dead. Tactically, we kind of were poor. Wolves, yet again, same BS that we was there. Nuno changed the tactics. We couldn't react. Spurs, again, we risked it with Partey, showing poor man management, playing players where they're not fully fit. Again, the players switched off with old habits. But again, Mikel Arteta lost the midfield battle. Jose Mourinho lured you in that game and spat you lot out, man. You know, when he was done with you lot. You know, another game he lost the battle tactically. You know, Southampton, we were dead. I think that was on the players. I think Eddie had a really poor game, if I can remember that properly. But yet again, I'm sure set piece let us down. Burnley, we let ourselves down via a set piece. Everton was just poor. You lot remember, again, he messed around with the lineup. Another game Eddie Nketiah was missing in. You know, if you lot remember that game, Yerry Mina and Michael Keane didn't even get to play like centre-halves. They were playing like centre midfielders in that game, people. And we let ourselves down via set piece, among other things. You know, we failed to mark people like Calvert-Lewin. It's like we go into games knowing what a team is about, and we're extremely naive, people. It's absolutely appalling, you know. And then again, fair play, you know, that it was all doom and gloom going into the Chelsea game. Look where they are now, you know. Imagine when we butt them on Wednesday under Thomas Tuchel. It's not going to be nice with that 5 at the back. You man are going to get overran and completely eaten alive. But fair play, we dealt with them. Then fans started to do that from December times league table. We beat Brighton. Brighton were crap them times. You know, West Brom, I'm not even going to talk on West Brom because we got them on Sunday, but it's a team we should be beating. You know, another key problem in our season, we can't break down low blocks, as you lot can see, people. Lo and behold, it was 0-0. We're still relying on Kieran Tierney to break games down. Obviously, we dealt with Newcastle, but like against Newcastle in the FA Cup, we're needing extra time or second half to turn things around. And like the game before that, if you lot remember, Newcastle were very solid in the first half. Then Steve Bruce tried to be attacking in that. The game opens up. There's no pressure. You know what Smith Rowe and them and their fair play, credit where due. We beat Southampton. That was a good result. Draw with United, it is what it is. But we can focus on the red card, whether it was or wasn't from David Luiz. But I think that was a game of poor individual mistakes among everything. Unnecessary rotation, poor individual mistakes. Everything was dead against. Everything went wrong from manager's point of view and the players against Villa. We beat Leicester. You know, again, defeative mindset against City. Again, fair play. We turned it around. We switched off, but we turned it around against Leicester. Again, stupid draw against Burnley. Beat Spurs, fair play. You know, drawing against West Ham. Those 3 goals were terrible. You know, it shows how reactive we were. Got back in it, though. Liverpool somehow, you know, didn't have to do much to get those 3 goals. Just tells you we're a badly coached side with players with bad habits yet again. Sheffield United is a game you should be winning. Fulham, yet again, inability to focus. Everton, yet again, inability to focus. You know, you had to. Everton tried really hard to draw the game with you. Like Carlo tried really hard to give you lot something, and you didn't. And fair play, we've just come off a Newcastle game. But my point being, you know, just as much as individual mistakes have had a part to play in the numerous bad things about players, Arteta has chopped and changed personnel, the lineup, and actually the formation too many times, and it doesn't help anybody, man. You know, very hot and cold when you look at it, people. You know, there's been games there where, you know, even the wickedest thing, even looking at this, there's been times where we've actually played the same way and come back from behind or still lost, where according to what happens, we say, oh, we weren't at it for the first 20 and then we was at it. You know, you lot already know there was games we'd start slow, end strong. Games we'd end strong, but we started slow. We'll start fast and then end slow. Even the Chelsea game we won, we tried very hard to mess that up. You know, we tried really hard to mess that up. Obviously, the Europa League's the same case as well. Listen, the group stage is a joke. Realistic respect to all them sides. But like I said, you don't need to take, with respect to the sides, because I don't want to say this, but you don't have to take it seriously till you get to the latter stages. Mikel Arteta said we've learned our lessons from this game, you know, from the Olympiacos period. So when we hit the knockouts, I'm looking for a change. Stupid goal to concede in a stupid draw against Benfica made it tougher than it needed to be with, you know, the heroics against Benfica, Willian and Odegaard and that. Olympiacos, we made it tougher. Again, not doing the job over two legs. Slavia Prague, the same. Villarreal ultimately led to our demise, but the same as well. So I can't really be surprised, people, because it's an extremely naive team with a naive manager. It's just a lot of naiveties, man. A lot of naiveties. And we've got a long way to go, man. We've got a really, really, really long way to go. Really long way to go, man. But without that being said, man, you know, I mean, without that, sorry. Oh, I've deleted it. I didn't mean to delete that. Put that back. Without being disrespectful to Mikel Arteta and things like that, like I can't see how it gets better, because we see a lot of naiveties, and I'm onto more than just Arteta, because the next manager, if the manager is successful at this football club, we're gonna sit there and go, hang on a minute, what's going on here? You need to invest. If he's doing like this, then we've got a problem. You know, I would love Conte at this football club, but at the same time, bro, he's not here for this. Conte will open up his mouth if we're doing this nonsense. You know. He'll open up his mouth. Mikel Arteta is as much to blame for our league position. Look, no, in fact, let's look at the results. Simple as that, man. Like, you can't argue with that. Big up DG for sounding so lively today. I'm still peed to the max. Can't blame you. We're never at it for 90 minutes. And as much as I'm getting at Arteta, bro, you man are professional footballers, you know. What's going on? You know, it's hot and cold season. You barely see 3 wins in a row. Yeah, you're right, bro. Let's go back to that, man. Let's go back to that. Let's actually see the most wins we put on the trot. Because like I said earlier, you know, he's getting onto Emery when he was going on that unbeaten run. And I told you lot, and I still maintain at the time it was a false image. Because what I was telling you lot and what some of you were saying, we went to see it. Arteta ain't even got that, folks. Like my man Nana has said, bro, how many wins we got in a row? Probably got more losing sequences and that. Like the only period, what? All right, cool. It was this. It's this. This is the only period. The most we've done is 3 in a row, no? All right, fair play, you know. In fact, saying that, we went on a little run, you know, from Arsenal versus Chelsea to, let's call it, to the United game. You know, that was probably our most positive season part of the season. Let's be real. You know, it's got more than 3, you know, the most we've done is 3 wins in a row, you know, on the trot in terms of 7 games. The most we've done is about 7 or so games unbeaten. That's that. All right, cool. Considering that period, you know, it's not the best. Shouldn't have lost to Everton. Well, that's above it. But look, we shouldn't have lost to Palace. Probably could have done something against United. They would have felt the same way. Needed the second half to turn it around against Newcastle. Could not break down Palace once again. But that was probably the best period as an Arsenal fan. You know, then we had the little West Ham period, Leicester to West Ham, which again wasn't that half bad. You know, wasn't that half bad. I thought it was going to be even more doom and gloom. Reality crept in straight after the West Ham game, though, obviously, folks. And then, yeah, man, fortunately for us, we've got 4 games left. You know, two London derbies. Palace away never fills me with confidence. Stamford Hill, that's saying no, I'm North London. Stamford Bridge, sorry, never fills me with confidence. And I don't like playing Brighton home or away for obvious reasons. I've been at the Emirates a couple of times where they've actually just been villains and just smacked us. So 4 games left in it, man. It would have been nice to have 5, but 4 games left, man. And then you players can go on holiday and do whatever the hell you want, man. Some of you hope you never kick a ball for the club again. Boy. Is where it is, man. Boy, and then in terms of transfer news, people, there's some rumors linking us with a goalie. I'm sure you all know that. You all know ONANA. But we might as well speak on him quickly, people. Might as well speak on him. Before I speak on him, make sure your day off, people, for the watch along. Trust me, I wouldn't want to be there either, but I love you guys, man. Where are we at in terms of likes? If you can't be there, just hit the like button for the guy. 9 likes. Let me be sad and add my own. Do what I can for the engagement. But looking at this, people, as you lot can see, Charles Watts, Arsenal correspondent for Goal.com, has said Arsenal eyes 7 million move for Ajax goalkeeper ONANA, but face weight over doping ban appeal. As you don't know, he's been banned from football right now. As you lot know, the Cameroon keeper is wanted by the Gunners, but is currently serving a 12-month suspension, which is due to last until February 2022. So it's of no help for us for a good portion of next season then. Arsenal are interested in signing Ajax goalkeeper Andre ONANA this summer, but will wait for the verdict in his upcoming appeal against a doping ban before deciding to step up their interest. Now, whether we like him or not, obviously we know Leno's future is subject to speculation. 1 minute he's staying, then he's going. So it is nice to hear that sort of thing. But obviously, if his ban can't be overturned, then it's irrelevant, really, because he's currently standing. People, pardon me, he's probably serving a 12-month ban. He's getting his appeal in early June by the Court of Arbitration for Sport. I don't know if he's more likely to bust it or not, people, but we'll have to see. This guy's I might do a video on him. This guy's an FM legend, this Khalidine guy. Apparently, his lawyers believe the ban, which is currently due to last until February 2022, could be reduced to 8 months. And should that happen, a summer move from Ajax could be on the cards for the Cameroon international. Apparently, Goal has learned that Arsenal's interest in the 25-year-old stretches back to last January, when contact was made between the North London club and the players' representatives. Arsenal were on the lookout for a keeper following the departure of Martinez in September and the underwhelming form of summer recruit Alex Renison. I've completely forgot Renison was a member of Arsenal Football Club. But despite technical director Edu and manager MIKEL Arteta being big admirers of ONANA, financial issues prevented Arsenal from making a firm offer. Arsenal still maintain a strong interest in ONANA despite the doping ban he was handed. Let's see. Apparently, he's always maintained that he accidentally took the medicine that was prescribed for his wife. And apparently people are angry that he's been, they've given it to him. I like him. I'm not really convinced on him technically yet, but I think he's a decent keeper. A bit shaky in terms of decision making, but he's a decent keeper and we could do a lot worse. 7 million, I can't complain. So it all hinges on him getting out of this ban, people. Apparently they could be looking to receive around 12 million for him if his ban is successful in being appealed. He's got a year left on his contract, people, and he's got interest from clubs in Germany and France keeping tabs, people. We've got Leno, who's got 2 years left on his deal, so we'll have to see. And as you lot can see here, Leno himself said, I'm very happy at the club. I don't know what will come in the future, but I'm open to everything, maybe for a new adventure or to stay at Arsenal. And a lot of that is to probably play games in relation to a contract. A lot of that is probably signaling his intent. At the moment, I don't think about my future because 2 years is still a long time. There are no conversations with the club. And we did hear last 2 years, we need to get something sorted. And I think it's pretty damning. Chambers, El Nene, Lacazette, and obviously my man Leno. It's no coincidence. There's no talks around new contracts. I'm hoping that's to say that your people are being moved on, decisions potentially being made. Maybe it could be incompetence and it's not being done because we're being laxed in our approach to having a proactive future. I actually don't know, but I'll leave you lot to draw that conclusion. Is what it is in that regards, man. We have not won a game in the last 14 home matches and only scored 4 goals. Shocking. 14. You sure? Could never. It must be. That's a madness. I don't even know, man. I haven't preed it at all. I like Mavropanos. I don't think he's going to get an opportunity next year. I think it's probably best he stays on loan again in Germany, but it is what it is in that regards, man. It is what it is. This is the problem with Arsenal. We think a side grade at best is a good move. When are we truly going to upgrade? Age-old questions, man. Age-old question. Ohana is a great shot stopper, but he is bad at playing out from the back. If we get him, I doubt Arteta is the one who wants him. Maybe it's just the easy option. He's got 1 foot out the door. Allegedly, you know, it's a cut price move. It's not going to break the door. It's not going to break the bank too much. Maybe that's why we're doing that. We'll have to see, man. I'd rather we can't do scouting and find someone. There must be someone. Way before Oblak became a household name, where was he? Do you get it? You know, way before Courtois was at Chelsea, the man was somewhere in Belgium, and they did a good job with a couple of them Belgian lads. You know, they've got to become a great keeper somewhere. You know, can't we find someone like that, of that ilk? Like, where will we finish if we win our remaining games? Let me look at the table, man. Truthfully, I don't know, and I don't really feel confident sitting here and telling you anything, broski. But let me look at the table. Can I see us winning every game against Chelsea, Crystal Palace, Brighton? I want to get this, people. Don't help me. Crystal Palace. My man said, how can I get it? West Brom, Crystal Palace, Chelsea, Brighton. I had it. How can I forget the team we're playing on Sunday? Arsenal will do that to you. So what? We're on 49 points. 12 points to play for, or something like that. Asking too much, man. Liverpool and Everton have games in hand. 7th at best, 6th, I hope. That's about it, man. Sounds like we're getting another Leno. We can't keep buying keepers who can't play with their feet. He's prone to moments of madness, and I don't really get it. If he's going to be number 2, he's going to be number 2. I mean, he's been He's been linked with Barcelona, if that helps, but not like Barcelona's recruitment has been good. No one knew who Mendy was before Chelsea. To be fair, I think the jury's still out on Mendy, but you're right, man. They got rid of everyone, and I don't mind getting rid of scouts, but when you get rid of Mislintat and you get rid of Francis, show me why they're gone. Dara's on Bants, man. Bradley's a Leeds fan, Leeds United fan here, and we are fighting over top 10 right now, bro. Bro, I don't want to fight no one, man. You know, you lot have it, man. These lot can't fight, bro. You lot have it, man. Well deserved. Big fan of you lot. And that's true. He was former La Masia, so that's probably where the bulk of it's coming from. Do you think Arteta deserves the money in the summer? Yes and no. Obviously, the way he's playing means he doesn't deserve time and money and things. But I'm just focusing on money. I'm not adding time into that. Yeah, because, bro, if he's going to be here, bring the man better players. And really, managers are disposable, if I'm completely honest with you. Like, again, I don't know. Did Lampard want Kai Havertz at Chelsea? Again, you know, Tuchel stumbled upon working with him, but did he want him? You know, did Lampard say bring Werner in? How many of those signings at Chelsea? Thiago Silva? How many of those signings was his guys? And again, you can't go too far. You know, you can't have other people just coming in without the manager, but there's a collective there, you know, sort of thing. So you need better players to get better results, of course. But the manager's not giving me confidence that you give a man better ingredients, he's going to chef off a better meal. If you can't make toast, I can't trust you to make a chicken and rice. The women team do dirt. They're on crud. Sandro is saying Ohana is decent and he's not as bad with the ball at his feet as people think. Just prone to moments of madness. Great shot stopper though. Sounds like Leno, brother. Loud that, man. What did you think on last night, bro? Tom, not to be shameless, but I offered all my opinions at length yesterday. So please check out my post reaction live stream. But not good enough is the best way to pull it in short, man. I just want a confident keeper. I like an old school keeper in it. I know you got to be good with your feet, but I just want a keeper that knows he's a goalie first and foremost and wants to spread, like, he just spreads calmness. I don't really like the eccentric keeper. Guys are great, good shot stoppers, but they can't convincingly collect across. Like, not to bring Martinez's name up, but you know Martinez knows he's a goalie. If you're not Edison, then Edison's the only exception and he gives calmness, but I do think a couple of the keepers in the Prem, the one that's at our club, if you ask them to play centre half, they'll be on it. Like they never seem comfortable in what they're doing, man. Donnarumma's good, but he's not coming here, my brother. DG, we have players that are better than the position we are in. Arteta does not deserve money. He's clueless. He'll buy Charlie Adams next. That's harsh, man. But listen, if he's going to be the manager of the club, it should go above Arteta now, you know. Because again, you don't need Arteta's input to say bring in a midfielder. Bring man the midfielder. Pattern up the scouting work. Bring man the midfielder. I'm not disagreeing with you, but bring man it in and then say, look, there's no excuses. Because I don't buy a lot of things. I think Arteta has a lot of luxuries, but I don't buy a lot of things he says, especially the preseason one. He probably did, but until he's rising up his money, he's gone. I don't know if Raya is going to be the first choice goalkeeper, but like my man has said, he could be a good option. We need first choice. I don't mind Areola. It's one of them. I have to just convince myself about it, man. I'd rather sign a keeper we don't know. Someone just go scout a keeper, man. Just go scout a keeper, man. Simple as that, man. Literally. We do feel pain every year, man. We do feel pain every damn year. I can't lie to you, lot. I can't lie, people. I'm going to get out of here, though, man. I've put in a shift with these 2 live streams. It's time to chill off, man. I'm going to get out of here. Please make sure you're at the watch along tomorrow. If not, man said tomorrow on Sunday, just make sure you hit the like button, man. I like Millier. I told you about him when he was at France's Under-20 World Cup. Another one that's prone to madness, but he's young. I don't mind moving with that. At least you can say, all right, cool, he's going to get better. But on that, man, I'm getting out of here, man. I can't lie. I've got no motivation to keep speaking about Arsenal at lengths, man. So I'm going to have to love and leave you lot, man. Make sure you hit the like button before you leave, and I'll see you lot on Sunday, man. I'll probably bring out some content tomorrow. Don't hold me to that. But I appreciate you guys, man, especially because it's been a rough 24 hours or so for us, man. But enjoy what's left of you lot's Friday, people. Stay blessed. Make sure you hit that like button. I'm out.